Hey guys, and welcome back to another week of Cos-Say. Today I'm here with Max. Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so we're just gonna jump right into it. Yeah, so let's start off with how you got into cosplay. How did you?
I think so. I've had watched a bunch of different animes, but I think the first one that got me into cosplay was Naruto, as some millennial and maybe early Gen Z has done. So I think my very first cosplay was Karen Uzumaki. It was mostly thrifted. I had dyed my hair red and got it cut like her style. And it was just a hot mess, but it was a really good fun time. Went to my first con like that, bought costume cloak. Should have bought that. It was a waste of $60. I could have just thrifted that for cheaper. But it's I found out cosplay the thing after looking up the characters. So you start off with the anime and the manga, and then I looked it up and I realized, oh, people were dressing up like it, and I was like, I want to do that too. And so I got my friends into it, and then just chaos has begun.
So where did you first start cosplaying? Was it for a convention or was it just a Halloween costume or something?
It was a mix of a convention and just fun with my friends. We did mini shoots.
Mm-hmm.
So the mix of I'm pretty sure the full official cosplay I've ever done, I guess, would have been at a convention.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So what was your first convention?
Izumicon 2011. Rest in peace. It no longer exists.
How was that experience? What did you guys do there? What cosplays did you bring?
We went for one day because it was our first time hearing about conventions were a thing. We've heard of Comic-Con, but we didn't know anime conventions were a thing. So we mostly went to experience the vendor hall, see the artists, go to a couple panels. We played Ninja a lot. That was a really big thing, was just Ninja. So it was ironic when you just have a bunch of Naruto cosplayers playing that. And then I think we played live chess.
That's pretty cool. Have you been to more cons since that? And how many do you think you've been to, if you have?
I've been to quite a couple more, not a whole bunch, but I my local cons I've gone to several times. I've been to San Japan once, Katsucon twice, NakaCon technically two times, but the second time we went officially, because of the pandemic, it canceled 2 hours after we got there.
Oh,
I know. I was just sitting here in my cosplay. I'm well, I'm just going back to sleep.
so you've been cosplaying since 2011, right?
Yes. Official, I believe, yeah, about 2011, I would say.
So how many cosplays do you think you've done over that time?
At least over 20. I've lost count because I forget about cosplays I've done, even if they kind of cos tests. I still kind of count them because they're thrifted or there's kind of at home stuff.
Yeah.
Because of I was homeschooled, so me going out that often was very rare, and it was a 3-week negotiation to convince my parents to let me go to a con. So I it would take me a minute to go and count every single one, because I remember one year, actually 2 years, I did this 14 days of Christmas thing where I did a different cosplay every day until Christmas.
Oh, that's cool.
So maybe probably over 30 then, if you count that, and then the rest I've done these previous years.
What's the cosplay that you're most proud of that you've done?
It would be a tie between the one I've made, which is Mina, from a mobile game called Chain Chronicles. It used to have a US server, but it's no longer popular enough that they just cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a witch cosplay. I had a whole staff that was a 2-year project.
Oh wow.
I just cut my I had a scarf, and it was really, really long, and so I had to cut every individual square and sew every single square together to get the pattern I wanted, because it didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before spoon flower was a big thing where you could just print out your own patterns. I wish I had known, but hey, I won a cosplay award for it.
That's really
and
awesome.
Then the next one would have been, I want to say it's a tie between my Royal Icing Artoria Morgan, Royal Icing Artoria, Alter Artoria, yeah, from Fate, and then my Morgan Lafrey from Fate. The name's just so confusing.
Is there a cosplay that you're not so proud of, or that you try to build off of because it's wasn't the best experience?
I'm trying to think. I can't really pinpoint a cosplay that where I felt like, this wasn't at my best. It's like I do try my best on most of the cosplays. Eventually, it's like I might not like feel at the beginning, but if I'm usually hanging out with people, I enjoy my time even in the cosplay because I get to like take pictures and hang out with people that like know the character, like know the same series.
That's pretty cool. I think that's a really good way to look at it.
Because 9 out of 10, if you don't like it, as long as you're kind of in a group of people like you enjoy hanging out with, you end up having fun in it, and it becomes like maybe like a memorable piece that you've done.
That's really cool. So, what inspires you or motivates you to keep cosplaying?
Kind of just like the creativity, because I like creating things. So it's like me, it's like I see something that's kind of like complicated, I kind of like break it down pattern wise and say like, oh, is this like physically possible to make? Or is this like, okay, how can I replicate that with what I have? Or what's the best resources? Can I thrift this for cheap? And just like the creating aspect of it.
That's a really cool thing to be proud of. I know that one of your followers actually asked what your favorite prop material is. Do you have a favorite prop material?
I would say foam for sure, because it's just like universally cheap and it's very flexible. It's like you can heat mold it to almost any shape. You can make it where it looks like armor. You can make it where it looks like leather. You can almost make it like where it's metal. Like it's almost pretty much a universal product you can get anywhere for cheap and it doesn't break a budget.
Awesome. Is there a project that you've made with foam that you've been like specifically like very very proud of that you want to share?
See this. See, the last project I've made with foam that I can remote call, which is really sad, is so I've done Asami from Legend of Korra, and so I made her glove completely from foam and from like really cheap gloves I just found, and like so I had an old alarm clock. I took the wires from that, and then I like the little pegs. I don't know what they're called, but I used that for a lot of the pieces. Some like light she like used for like garage, we like tap in, the light turns on kind of situation. So I made that with foam, and I won third place with that at a different con. But the sad thing is I cannot find that glove. It like got lost after another con. Like it just completely disappeared.
That sucks. But that, I mean, that's still pretty cool that you did that. Like, but yeah. Do you have any like memories since you've been cosplaying since 2011? You have to have like some positive, like some super positive memories. Are there any like distinctive ones that you have?
Let's see. The distinct ones currently is so I did a huge like Fate Made group. It was like we've been working on that group since collectively putting it together since 2019 of Katsu. So me and this one friend, we like planned way in advance because we just don't know, and also in like different areas it's hard to plan in person when you like do it long distance because she's in Canada and I'm in here in America, so we're just kind of like we're gonna have to plan. So we got together collectively, I want to say 14 maids from this series, and we had shot at the mansion, and we had to like collectively like keep up with everyone, be like, hey, is anybody gonna drop out, or do we need to like help you guys, like who needs a cosplay, or do we need some pieces with a bunch of organization. And that was fun to do after 3 days of the con of not sleeping, because I got there Wednesday, so just like Wednesday to Saturday, just almost no sleep. Another memorable moment would probably be like the first time I actually won a contest. Like I wasn't expecting to win. It was just all of a sudden I was like, wait, what? They're calling my name.
How is it to compete in cosplay competitions? Like, what's that experience like?
It can be stressful because it's if you ever compete, it's just cancel the whole day for that. Like, because in the morning, 9 out of 10, you're going to be there early in the morning, depending what time slot you get. I recommend always don't always be first in line, because on 9 out of 10 you'll end up having to walk first. Kind of like wait till the line kind of builds up a little bit before getting in line. That way you're like not first in line, but you're not like last, because you kind of have to like compete with like, oh, whatever's last, that's gonna be the last thing everyone sees. So, like I like the middle is the best part. Be prepared to, especially if your cosplay is very elaborate or you have to return, you can see the details. Prepare to just not move for 20 minutes, because 9 out of 10 I will walk onto con floor and then photographers will surround me and I won't move. I'll just like turn posing at each photographer, and then I'll take one step and then I get stopped again. So expect not to move a lot. Hydrate a lot, because you're just gonna forget about that, and have a granola bar on you. Having a granola bar saves your lives. Just having a snack on until you can like go back to your hotel room, undress everything because you don't get any food on it, and actually go eat before the convention. and expect to get really hot because in the back of competitions, you're in backstage and it's not really well vented sometimes, especially in a layered cosplays, and there's a bunch of people just like just stuck together. Like the stage is not that big back there, so it's just everyone just cluttered together. You're in like lines. So you're just gonna go back and forth weaving. At least like the people in the staff will like make sure you get water, so that's good. But the whole day, just block it all out.
But it's definitely a fun experience for you.
It's definitely a fun experience. Like, it's not for everyone. It's like if you just like the thrill and the adrenaline of like, oh, like you walked on stage, you showed off your cosplay proudly. If anything, if not to like actually compete, it's still a fun experience. I recommend everyone at least trying once.
That's awesome. What do you think is like the biggest struggle in being a cosplayer?
Not having pockets. It's like, and I kind of just like a lot of my cosplays from Cos-Say was like only 2 actually have pockets. One is because I was wearing pants under the long dress, but I had to like hike up the skirt to get to my pocket. And then was a coat that was like, this is almost nothing. I need a coat. We're in Katsu. This is gonna be freezing. But I try to pick cosplays that have pockets, but 9 out of 10 I end up picking cosplays that don't have it. So I'm just like carrying around my bag, being like, "Can you hold this? Can you hold this?"
Sorry, I had a question and then I forgot. My brain went like no thoughts just for a
You're
second.
Good. Head empty, no thoughts.
Literally, that's what my brain does. So like I'm like smiling and just that's there it goes. Anyway.
Bye.
No, the cosplay community, like what is your opinion on that? Like what do you think is like the best part of all of us together?
I think it's just the joy of us actually hanging out and having a common interest of just like dressing up and being nerds. So the bare core base of cosplay is you're just dressing up. No matter if it's like it's thrifted, bought one, you made it from like scratch. It's still just a fun thing. Everyone should just realize that we're just doing this for fun. Even if you make a career, but baseline is as long as you're having fun, that's what matters.
That's awesome. If there's like one thing that you could possibly change about our community, what would it be?
I would say the elitism, where it's like people with like say like a higher following is like, oh, I won't talk to this person, and if they're under this so many followers or subscriptions, I'm like, again, we're all just dressing up and being nerds. Nothing higher or lower about that. We're all still going to the same place. We're all still paying the same amount of money to go to the same convention.
That is definitely a good outlook on it. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really cool to hear people's opinions on what could be improved, because then we can address the issue and actually better our community. Mm-hmm. Because it should be a welcoming and opening place for everybody, and hopefully these interviews do help with a little bit of that, because it's really fun to hear your opinions on the community. So yeah, thank you.
Okay.
That's really all of the questions that actually no, that's not. I lied. We're gonna go back. I have not done that before, but yeah. Okay, so we've been in quarantine for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
How has that really affected your motivation to keep cosplaying, or what you've been doing over the time?
It's plummeted, say, for like that weird first month, because I was kind of just like, I didn't know what time was. I didn't have a job during that time, so the whole month it was just me playing Animal Crossing, sleeping, and eating, essentially, just a cycle. I didn't know what day it was sometimes. The only time I would maybe know is if I actually looked at the date time when Isabel announces it. But so it's like the creativity kind of stumped, because you're kind of like, what's the point of making anything? And there's not going to be any cons. Everything's kind of canceled. You can't go hang out. But then after a while, you kind of like see things like you watch a show that you love, like an anime. You see like new creations or art. And it kind of like gives you kind of a drive to want to make something again. Mm-hmm. So it's like I've slowly been like doing cosplay stuff, and I've done a lot of fan signs mainly right now to help with a lot of the Black Lives Matters movement, Yemen Crisis, and a bunch of other organizations that need like recognition. So it's like I've done a lot of cosplays to help support those charities. So that's another motivation for me, is like, oh, I can do fan signs or stuff like that. At least I can help support other communities.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. What are some of these projects that you've been working on to support the other communities, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. So besides like fan sign that people like kind of like a mini shout out to people, I've done like I have a lot of like, I guess, quote unquote explicit, not really explicit, lewd sets to do for like old fans and whatnot. So I can use those, like do sets that I like, hey, if you donate so much to this organization and send me proof, I will send you the set for free. So basically just kind of like giving people something back as a reward, even though they should do it out the reward, but sometimes people need incentive to go do what you should do for the community. Because as a whole, it's like we can do a lot. Like we've changed a lot of laws. We've had laws implemented. We've had protesters like bailed out because of what we've done.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think it's really cool that you work on side projects, and I definitely think it's cool that you're providing that incentive because, as you said, people should do it without the incentive, but they don't sometimes. But that's really cool. I've never really addressed this issue on Cos-Say before, but how is it to be like? How is it to make NSFW or lewd content? Is there sort of a view that you get from the community versus somebody who doesn't?
There's kind of like, no matter what, there's always going to be like, that's kind of how society is. If you're attractive, you're always going to probably be higher than someone else. That's how it is, because everyone's like, beauty is number one. So it's like, yeah, it's just like I'm pretty, so it's like I probably have a better chance on that sometimes, but it's like we are trying to open up that community a little more, so like everyone should be able to do whatever they want. So as an NSFW creator, it's kind of like I want to at least promote others that like have probably like a lower following, or like put like maybe like my I forget the word my services to like help someone else in the same community. And it's just like, you're always going to have those haters being like, oh, you shouldn't do that, you should respect your body. And I'm like, I do respect my body and myself. It's what I want to do. It's like not for you to judge. If you don't like it, then block and unfollow. Like, you don't have to look at it if you don't like it.
Yeah. On another different aspect of cosplay, so somebody in one of the questions that I asked for, they did ask, how do you balance cosplay with your family and your life and work and stuff like that? How do you do that?
It's kind of like I just have to set like times or deadlines for myself, figure out like, okay, like figure out what my work schedule is, see like, okay, if I work say 4 days a week, okay, I have these extra 3 days, like what day am I going to be doing like extra like errands, stuff I need to do to get stuff to make my content, or there's an appointment in between that. So it's kind of like I have to like designate days for like where I create content in between my work shifts. Just okay, like I usually try to do on days I know my job is like close, so I don't have like a chance like, oh, I have to get called in and I'm like trying to create content. Family wise, it's I don't talk to my family very much, so it's like, as far as they know, like only like my little sister and my little sister knows. But I don't talk to them that very much, so it's like I'm gonna do what I want because I'm an adult.
Yeah. That is now all of my questions.
Yeah.
I didn't mess up this time. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me. Do you want to drop your social media down below?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram, lonelyspaceprince. I have Twitter, lspaceprince, and then my OnlyFans is in my link on my Instagram, and I have a Facebook page which is also lonelyspaceprince.
Awesome, and I'm going to be putting those down below. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to any of your fans, your followers, or your friends that may be watching?
Thank you guys for your support. Even though I'm a hobgoblin of a mess, it's always fun to hang out with you guys and hope to see more of you, my followers, and hope we can create good memories after this is over. Please wear a mask. As they said, if we just like 2 months of everyone wearing a mask, we could be out of this at a better state.
Yeah. And that's it for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Bye.